Speaking of up-and-comer, this hot young comedian is just in our studio.
Where? When?
Mike Wally Walter is a Seattle native comic who has spent the last 25 years making people laugh all over the country. He's appeared on Showtime, ABC, MTV, and this weekend you can see him live at the Main Stage Comedy and Music Club. Let's see, you're going to have shows tonight and tomorrow. Mike Wally Walker, welcome to the Bob Rivers Show.
It's Walter.
Walter.
Yeah,
Walker
it's with a
in
big
this town?
T. That'd be the other guy, that Jay Wendell Walker guy that I get confused with so many times.
You get a lot of that, yeah.
I do. Aren't you related to Jay Wendell? No, he's much older. Much, much older.
So, you are a newlywed.
I am a newlywed.
Just got married, and it's marriage number?
5. We don't like talking about it, but it's 5.
Wow.
Is she listening by any chance?
She could. Hopefully, she's at work making money.
Does she know? Good.
Attaboy.
Does she know about the other 4?
Yeah, regrettably so. Yes, she does.
No,
I'm not happy about it.
Are all the other 4 still with us, or were you widowed at all? Or?
No, I wasn't. I wish I was.
That's a cheaper way out, man.
Some
Buy a
of them
nice
were
cheap
evil.
Buy a cheap headstone in Vermont.
Widows
you're done.
don't get any checks.
Yeah, no, I'm all done with that though. I finished paying that off. I got 3 kids. Finished paying off all the child support. Because there's no alimony here in Washington. So
How does Thanksgiving work? Are they
very
all
confusing.
Are the kids from different wives or?
The 2 oldest kids are from one wife, and the youngest kid that I have is from my second wife, and he's like 25 now.
That's the youngest. Yeah.
That is the youngest. Yeah.
So, now, I know you've been asked this before. Probably tired of answering it. Maybe you have a few jokes for it, but a lot of people try to get married just once.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't go well, they're like jaded and they're careful and then try to get married just twice. And if that doesn't work,
They go third time's
they
the
might
charm.
try a third time as the charm.
Yeah. On my third marriage,
Uh-huh.
I was in Brookings, South Dakota. I'd finished doing a show, and I was sitting in the hot tub because I got a bad back. And this fat lady sat in the tub with me, and she told me she was a palm reader. Read my palm, told me I was going to be married 5 times.
In a hot tub.
In a hot tub.
And that was your third wife?
I was on my third wife.
Oh,
well, I wasn't on her.
No,
She
not in
wasn't
the
in the
tub
hot
at the
tub
time.
with me.
She wasn't in the tub.
She was home, and I
Were-
said, "Oh, you're so full of crap. I'm happily married to my third wife at the time." And I came home and found her in an affair, and I said, So I got the 4th wedding
Now I
out
was
of the
going
way.
to ask you. Now I was going to ask you how you broke up with them all. And you're a comic. Comics always, even the not handsome ones, unlike yourself,
Yeah.
always get.
Bob, I got a face for a radio.
Yeah,
Come
I
on.
know.
Yeah.
They always get trophy women, though. It doesn't matter if you're funny on stage; you can get whatever you want. Did you meet some of these wives? Were they kind of groupies?
No.
None of them.
Actually, no. The first wife I was married to, I wasn't a comedian. I was working in a box factory in Olympia, and
Box factory guys are challenged in the meat and ladies
yeah,
department.
So I married her. I was married to her for 8 years, and then I got
That's
fired.
That's a pretty good hunk right there.
That's a pretty good honk right there. And then I ended up leaving her. And
What did she do to make you leave her? It sounds like you were the leaver.
I was? That was the one.
Have you ever been the leavee?
I have been.
All right,
the
we're going to
leavee.
get to that.
Yeah.
But when you left her, what did she do?
Basically, other than being the spawn of Satan, that was it. It was just
That's
like
all
this.
it took for you, huh? You weren't that committed.
8 years, and I finally realized, oh my God, there's better things out there in the world other than just being damned every night. So I left.
So 4.
So she would come in and she would damn you.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, and the deal was I was working in the box factory, and I would get off work and I'd go out and I'd get drunk, and then I'd come home and pass out, and that was the only way I was surviving. And it was either become an alcoholic or get a divorce. So I got the divorce and became an alcoholic.
I was going to say.
Eventually.
You want to do both?
So of 4 marriages, your 4 previous, now you're in wedded bliss again. Is it a split decision? You were at fault twice, they were at fault
No,
twice?
I was at fault once, and then 3 times they were at fault.
Okay, so next wife. Now, how'd you meet her?
I met her in a restaurant. She was a waitress. God only knows how many guys have we met that have married a waitress.
They're great.
4
The waitress is like the American icon.
Yeah.
Of we can't all be Pretty Woman and drive up in front of a flat with a sailboat out front.
That's it.
But rescuing a waitress.
That's
sweeping
exactly what I thought I was doing. Was rescuing
sweeping
a
her
waitress.
off her feet, the whole deal. She
Yeah.
was hot, right?
She was a hottie.
Yeah.
She was very good looking, and unfortunately, everybody else thought she was good looking too. So when I started doing comedy and going on the road,
She was home taking
everybody
orders.
was doing her.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it turned into one of those movies.
Yeah, it was. It was
Did
actually.
you find her? Did you come home and hear some noises?
No, actually. actually, I was in a comedy competition in Spokane, Washington, and she just decided that I called her up because I said, "Hey, I made the top 5. If I do one more night, I'm in the finals of this competition." She said, "I'm so happy for you. You're married to comedy now." And when I came home, she had all my stuff packed up and put out in the garage, and I just kind of moved back to Spokane. I moved to Spokane.
That's harsh.
Yeah,
no,
it
put
was.
out
honey, I'm
Especially
doing.
with the other 2 comics when I was driving back, and they're going, "Hey, who's the hot chick in that yard?" And I went, "That's my soon-to-be ex-wife. Thank you very much."
And your stuff was out front.
No, it was out in the garage.
It was
That's
in the garage.
nice. That's actually
Mike's
thoughtful.
stuff. Mike can do you better. Mike's stuff was out front.
Yeah, that's
Really?
harsh.
In the
Yeah.
rain.
In the rain?
Someone left his comics in the rain. You heard the song.
Well, but she did leave me in July.
Yeah.
So
It
Well,
wasn't
that
so
was
bad
sweet
that it
of
was
her.
outside in July. And so now that's tough because she basically crushed your profession. She
Crushed
said,
my
I
profession.
don't, not only do I not care about your profession, it's in the way of me. I need someone to worship me. So you're probably grateful in a sense.
I was grateful. I moved to Spokane, and I ran a comedy club over there from 1983 to 1987.
I've heard of you for that. You ran a club.
I ran a club
Yeah.
in Eastern Washington.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's fun because the
Yeah.
comics come in and out. You get to be around comedy.
Well,
And
I
did you also
hosted.
get on stage too?
Yeah, I was hosting it every week, and then I just got to a point to where I said, I'm going out on the road now. And,
So, wife number 3.
wife number 3.
We'll get to the comedy
I
later,
moved
but I'm
back, yeah.
fascinated
I'm
by
having fun now.
I moved.
most people when they've been married 5 times, like some people we know, they don't want to talk about it.
No.
So you're a comic. You got to getting
It's,
your
I use it in
getting
my
your
act.
pain out is what you do.
Sure, I got like 40 minutes on my ex-wives.
So number 3, how'd you meet her?
Number 3, I moved back to Seattle because the girl I was living with decided that she didn't want me living there anymore in Spokane. So I left Spokane and moved back to Seattle. I was living in downtown Seattle, and I met this gal. And
You're doing geographical ping pong off
I
over
am.
the Cascade
I'm doing it.
Mountains.
Bouncing back and forth.
Ovarian ping pong.
I found her at actually she was kind of a groupie gal. I met her at CI Shenanigans in Tacoma, and
You can't even say CI shenanigans
I
on
know
the radio.
CI Shenanigans. There you go,
You know what they call his groupies, by the way?
What?
The Wally Bangers.
Wally Bangers.
Yeah.
And so you met her after show. She was
After
impressed
show.
with what you were. And by the way, after losing the wife who said, "I don't care about comedy, you're married to that,"
Yeah.
the next wife would have to be someone who loved comedy.
She loved comedy.
Yeah.
Came to the show. We hooked up. We ended up being together, and unfortunately, she couldn't keep her pants on while I went on the road either. So
She was
came
a-
back and found her with her ex-husband. That
He
was
became an opening act, a frequently opening act.
yeah. So during that time is when the fat lady read my palm. I was happily married to my.
You're in
third
a
wife at
hot
the
tub
time.
with a fat lady,
I
which
was
is,
in a
by the
hot tub
way,
with a fat lady.
after the
Divorce was
third
her
wife,
fault.
the one who was supposed to love comedy, I'm sitting in a hot tub with a fat lady.
But I
This
had
is-
my suit on.
This is
Yeah.
probably before antidepressants were big
Yeah.
either, or you could have been on them.
Yeah, I don't believe in antidepressants anyway.
You like to experience your emotion, don't you?
I love the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the third wife and I broke up, and then I met the fourth wife. Now, after being told I was going to be married 5 times, I decided to get the fourth wife out of the way, and I
Well,
married her.
I knew it was destiny.
so how freaky was that? I mean, you're looking at number 4 going future ex-wife, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Did you go into it knowing that this could be a future ex-wife?
Yeah, she was an open mic comic here in Seattle, and so we hooked up, and we were married for 6 months. Out.
That's bizarre. Did you really go into this knowing that it wasn't going to last?
Yeah, yeah.
You just wanted to get
She
through
was
it.
psycho.
She was psycho. She was hot.
She
a
was
comic.
hot.
Yeah,
I will say that
Yeah.
she was.
I
hot.
knew she was hot because your temporary wife has to be hot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and everything was great.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was.
Now who left who?
We decided. Well, actually, her father was a psychologist, and he used to be a psychologist to celebrities in Hollywood. And we lived in Port Townsend at the time, and he would get phone calls from these celebrities, and he'd do the therapy over the phone.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So it'd be like who would call him? Like
Bill Bixby was one of his clients.
Bill Bixby?
Yeah, and yeah,
got this hot Asian housekeeper, and I got to keep my hands off her. That sort of thing.
Ew.
yeah.
I get
So-
mad. I get green. I rip my shirt. Ew.
That was it. I have no idea. And he'd just sit up in his office upstairs in the attic. He had an office in the
And he
attic. at
chatted
the
with the
house.
stars.
And he'd chat with these celebrities.
Wow. And he had a psycho daughter.
And every psychologist's daughter or children are nuts anyway.
Yeah.
So she
And they're
was.
kind of nuts themselves.
Yeah.
Those that
And
can't
yeah.
do teach.
Yeah.
I
And
always believed
basically what she did